Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. So I am going to be giving you the latest news regarding Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang like I did yesterday, but a bit more additional information is updated about him. Also going to update you on, what Lukaku has come out and said regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Lukaku has been talking. Also give you the latest news on Harry Kane, and also going to be giving you the latest news on Pogba, and also the news on the ambassador role. So the first topic I'm going to start with is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal. So Aubameyang is expected to leave Arsenal in the summer transfer window. Now Arsenal have given their overarching view on it, and I think Arsenal have come to accept the fact that Aubameyang, will not be committing his long-term future with Arsenal, and they've accepted that Aubameyang, is not going to be signing a new deal with Arsenal, because I do believe that, Arsenal have been in negotiations to try and convince him to sign a new contract. So obviously Arsenal would want to cash in for him in the summer transfer window rather than letting go on a 3 in the summer of 2021, because that's when his current contract does expire. Now there's not only Manchester United that have expressed their interest in Aubameyang, there's been quite a few clubs in for him, Barcelona, PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, they've all expressed their interest in Aubameyang. Now, reports have been emerging out of the media today saying, we're planning to put around a £50 million bidding for Aubameyang, because I think Arsenal do value Aubameyang at around £50 million. Now, I actually do like Aubameyang a lot, and Manchester United have been in for him in the past. But, Barcelona have actually been long admirers of the player. Aubameyang has been at Arsenal now just over 2 years. He's been at Arsenal, because he joined Arsenal in January 2018. Arsenal paid around £56 million for him, so he's one of Arsenal's most expensive signings. I think actually Arsenal's most expensive signing is Nicolas Pepe, who they paid £70 million for. Aubameyang in the Premier League has made 75 appearances for Arsenal, and he has scored 49 goals. So he's on the verge of breaking a record as Aubameyang, because he could become the fastest player to score 50 goals for Arsenal. And I think in all competitions, Aubameyang has scored around 61 goals. But he's definitely not expected to leave Arsenal. Now, obviously, before he was at Arsenal, he was at Borussia Dortmund, and he enjoyed a good tenure with Borussia Dortmund. He's also played for St Etienne, he's played for Monaco, and he's also played for Lille. And Aubameyang, is he 30 or is he 31 years of age? And that's my only element of concern about Aubameyang, that, he is aging up. But he is a prolific goal scorer, his movement's good, his runs on and off the ball are very, very good. He can create some very, very good chances, and I've got to say, he is one of Arsenal's best players. He is predominantly a striker, but he can also put Aubameyang out wide, but you see the best of him, when he is playing centrally. Now, obviously, as you all know, Man United have done business with Arsenal in recent years. Don't forget, we got Sanchez from them back in January 2018. We got Alexis Sanchez as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. Obviously, Sanchez didn't exceed expectations at Manchester United, because when we got Sanchez in, I thought it would have been an exceptional player, because Sanchez did enjoy a good 3.5-4 years at Arsenal. Also did well at Barcelona, Sanchez, when he was younger, when he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance. Don't forget, we got Robin van Persie from Arsenal back in 2012, and reflects on the amount of goals he scored, you can say he won us a league in 2013, did Robin van Persie. So obviously, we'd be hopeful that, Aubameyang, would be able to replicate, Robin van Persie, basically. But yeah, so it still remains uncertain, where Aubameyang will be going. But Man United have stepped their interest up in the player. So will Aubameyang, remain in the Premier League? Because he's had now 2 years' experience of being in the Premier League as the player. But definitely, Arsenal are going to lose him. Obviously, Edu, who was Arsenal's technical director, Also to Raul Chanelli, who's Arsenal's head of football. They want Aubameyang to commit his long-term future with Arsenal. But, Manchester United do need a centre-forward. Solskjaer's revealed that's one of the positions he wants to strengthen up. We know that, obviously, Odion Ighalo is doing really, really well. And Odion Ighalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Ighalo's got 4 goals in 3 starts, also provided a couple of assists. But Solskjaer did recently make an admission saying, that we could decide to make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent in the summer. And Odion Ighalo, did say he's even willing to take a pay cut, to remain at Manchester United. As it stands at the moment, we've got Odion Ighalo on a 6-month loan. Man United are paying like a third of his wages. But I think, could actually, get him on a permanent transfer because Odion Ighalo has confounded his critics wrong because a lot of people were saying, he was a panic buy by Manchester United. But we have got a lot of attacking players. But Odion Ighalo's totally comparison to them because, like Solskjaer recently mentioned, is an option of a different type of centre-forward. And I've got to say, he's a good cover-up for Marcus Rashford. Rashford is out with a back injury. And Rashford is a big miss for Man United, to be fair. He is a big miss, is Marcus Rashford, because he has been one of our best players this season, of course, when he was fit. I think he's expected back within the next 3 weeks is Marcus Rashford and that. But yeah, good cover-up for Marcus Rashford is Odion Ighalo. But before Ighalo came to Man United anyway, he'd played in the Premier League before because he enjoyed 3 years with Watford. But revert back to what I said, even if we do decide to give... If we decide to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer, I still believe Manchester United need a centre-forward in that. And, I think that like Aubameyang, would complement, the likes of Ighalo and Rashford and all our other attacking players very, very well if he was to come in, Aubameyang. But it's not assured, that he will come to Manchester United. He may not even cost as much as 50 million. He could go for around £35 million, could Aubameyang and that. But he is aware of the speculation. So that's the latest news on Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, I just want to give you the news on Romelu Lukaku. I was reading Sky Sports earlier on today, and Sky Sports is a very reliable source, and they basically said, did Sky Sports, that, Lukaku has revealed that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to keep him at Manchester United. Now, obviously, a lot of people say maybe Man United did make a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku because Lukaku now is firing in all cylinders at Inter Milan. He's enjoying a really, really good season at Inter Milan under Antonio Conte's guidance. Now, obviously, Solskjaer did say back in September, which was last year, he said, he thought it was the right decision to let Lukaku go. Because obviously Lukaku initially lost his place in the team, and this is one of the main explanations why he left. Obviously Lukaku enjoyed 2 years at Manchester United. He scored a total of 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions, and he was exceptional in his first season, but in his second season didn't really replicate that, did Lukaku. Obviously, there was a lot of United fans in that, that had a lot of element of concerns about him. Obviously, didn't really get a lot of runs in behind. He was very, very slow. He was a big game bottler and all of that. But, he did score a lot of goals for Manchester United. And, but we looked at it from a financial point of view and we would have been happy, the money we got from his departure, the money we generated because we got £70-odd million for him. So we basically recruit what we paid for him from Everton because we paid around £75 million in from Everton back in 2017 and that. So Lukaku did basically reveal that Solskjaer did want to keep him. Lukaku got his opportunities under Mourinho, but under Solskjaer, he did actually enjoy a difficult time, did Romelu Lukaku. So that's the latest news on him. Now I want to give you some news on Harry Kane. I have been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Harry Kane on a regular basis. Now, Harry Kane to Manchester United is definitely on. I'm very, very sceptical from my own perception that Harry Kane, will be a Manchester United player in the summer. I probably do believe he will leave Tottenham, but I just don't think he'll come to Manchester United. Now, there's been a few clubs that have expressed their interest in Kane. Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. I think Juventus have expressed their interest there, obviously orchestrating on playing him alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. Manchester City have also expressed their interest in Harry Kane and that. Now, obviously, we're waiting for Kane to make his first move before we step up our interest in him. John Barnes has come out, who is a legend, and he's actually urged Harry Kane to remain at Tottenham to obviously, win trophies in that. And obviously, he hasn't won out in terms of silverware at Tottenham, as Harry Kane. And Harry Kane has been at Tottenham for several years. I think Kane's been in Tottenham's senior squad since the age of 16 and since 2011. And Kane is now, 26 or is he 27 years of age? And he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, Kane is out with a hamstring injury. I think he's been out, as for at least the last couple of months. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024, he's Harry Kane. Don't forget, in the summer of 2018, Harry Kane committed his long-term future with Tottenham. He signed a 6-year deal, did Harry Kane, worth around £200,000 a week. So he has, as it stands now, got around 4 years remaining on his contract. Kane has around 181 goals in all competitions for Tottenham, in over 200 odd appearances he's made for them. But definitely Harry Kane is a very, very imperative player for Tottenham. And I think, Ed Woodward did reveal out, that he was excited about, relishing the chance to have negotiations with Daniel Levy. But Daniel Levy, is a very, very hard negotiator, when it comes to, going for Tottenham players. As we all know, he's a very, very hard negotiator. Obviously, if Tottenham, don't get any qualification for Europe, Jose Mourinho would only have around £50 million to spend in the summer, and that's if he is still Tottenham manager in that. But, I know how much Kane would cost. He'd probably cost in the £150 million range. I think, this is what Tottenham have quoted out that they want for him. But like I mentioned, Manchester United have actually been long admirers of Harry Kane because we've been in for Harry Kane in the past. And I've got to say, he would be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Him and Rashford, alongside each other in our team, would just be unbelievable because they know each other very, very, very well anyway, because they're both English, Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford. So that is the latest news on Harry Kane. If more things update, I will be giving you the news on that. I'll be giving you the news on that, yeah. So now I want to give you some news on Paul Pogba. I have been giving you a lot of news recently, regarding Paul Pogba. Now, I think, Paul Pogba has come out and revealed that he's really unhappy at Manchester United. Now, I think Paul Pogba's career at Manchester United is practically over. Because obviously, according to recent reports, Paul Pogba, now basically wants to leave Manchester United in the summer, and Manchester United are determined to sell him. Obviously, the Sun were reporting out yesterday. It was coming from Neil Custis, by the way. The Sun isn't reliable, but it just basically said, we've slashed around £80 million off his asking price, and we are willing to accept £100 million for Paul Pogba this summer. In terms, of the asking price, it's totally comparison now to what it was last summer, because last summer, we wanted around £180 million for Paul Pogba, but Real Madrid were not willing to meet that, so this is why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise. Obviously, it fueled a lot of speculation up recently because Paul Pogba, was training in a Juventus shirt and he had Matuidi on the back of his Juventus shirt. That was obviously, paying tribute to Matuidi because don't forget recently he, got tested positive for coronavirus. Don't forget Paul Pogba recently had some personal coaching with Michael Carrick. But actually, the reports that were coming out last week were totally comparison to the ones this week, because don't forget, Solskjaer did reveal after our 5-0 win against Lask that Paul Pogba, would have remained at the football club next season. So basically, Solskjaer reiterated what Pogba had said, because Pogba said himself last week that, he wanted to stay at Manchester United and he was interested in extending his contract with the club. And the main explanation why he wanted to stay at Man United is because he believes he can form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes, because he's aware of the impacts that Bruno Fernandes is making and that. And obviously, Dimitar Berbatov has come out and, he's given his overarching view on it. Berbatov, of course, is a former Manchester United player, but, he came out and says that, Man United should keep Pogba But he says, he doubts, Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba can be a partnership in our midfield. Because to be fair, they do have similarities, do both players. And this is what, Berbatov was coming out and saying and that. But, a lot of United fans have got different perceptions on Paul Pogba. Some United fans would be determined to keep him. And some United fans, would let Paul Pogba go and that. Because it would generate a substantial amount if we let him go. Obviously, it'd free up our wage bill a lot, because Pogba is on around 290 grand a week at the football club. But, since Paul Pogba rejoined Man United from Juventus back in 2016, he's just had a long-running transfer saga. And, I think we have now resolved his future. We just need to get his long-running transfer saga ended. Obviously, there was a lot of talks about him leaving under Jose Mourinho because he enjoyed a really difficult relationship with Jose Mourinho. Paul Pogba's appearances have been limited this season due to injury. His appearances have been limited. He's only played 8 times this season as Paul Pogba. The last game he played was on Boxing Day, when we won 4-1 against Newcastle. The last time he started from the start was back in September. So I think he's actually no favourite to go to Real Madrid. Could make a return to Juventus because Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in training with Juventus, but the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison. Also, too, PSG have been in for him. Also, Barcelona have inquired about his availability in the past. But Pogba's still got a lot of development in him because he's, 27 years of age now. Just recently turned 27, has Paul Pogba. And obviously, as you all know, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been talking. Obviously, he's been working on getting his client a transfer away from Man United, for at least the last couple of years. And he basically, wants his client to go to Real Madrid. So he's come out and revealed that he'll do everything he can, to get Paul Pogba to, Real Madrid this summer. And he also has confirmed, that he's having a complicated time at Manchester United. But Raiola still insists that he's focusing on Man United at the moment. But I've got to say his career is over. But I do believe he will play again for Manchester United before he does leave the football club. So that's the latest news now on Paul Pogba. Obviously now we'll be looking for replacements for Paul Pogba. Milinkovic-Savic has come up again, by the way. He's one player that could possibly replace him. Obviously, Jack Grealish is still on our agenda. I don't think, even if Paul Pogba would have stayed, it would have affected our pursuit of Grealish because Grealish is one of our number one priority targets for the summer anyway. So that's the latest news on Paul Pogba. Like I said, I want to give you now the latest news on Eric Cantona. Now, reports have been coming out saying that, there's been negotiations going on, saying that, Eric Cantona could possibly return to Manchester United in the ambassador role. Now, so that means he would, be like Dennis Irwin and Brian Robson, because obviously, they're in ambassadorial roles, are both of them and that. But reportedly, so there's been negotiations going on about, Cantona becoming to return to Manchester United and that. As you all know, Eric Cantona is a legend. Obviously, Cantona, endured 5 years at Manchester United from 1992 to 1997, and I think he scored 82 goals in 185 games for the club. Also won 4 Premier Leagues. I think he won a total of 6 major honours, did Eric Cantona. Don't forget, we did get Eric Cantona from Leeds. So there's been a lot of narratives in the mainstream media saying that, he could come back to Manchester United as in the ambassadorial role. So this is where what it's basically saying. So that's basically the latest news on Eric Cantona. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. And like I mentioned, I've been keeping up to date, like yesterday I was mentioning on my videos and that, obviously, the Premier League has been suspended until the April the 30th. The suspension, has been extended until the 30th of April because obviously, before it was suspended until the 3rd of April. But obviously, Premier League, FA and EFL have all confirmed it is suspended until the 30th of April due to the coronavirus outbreak. Obviously, yesterday Premier League clubs held an emergency meeting to establish plans for the remainder of the season. Now the decision has been made, but I do believe the season won't be axed. The season will resume. It definitely will resume, will the season, because don't forget, UEFA came out and they basically said they want all Premier League fixtures and all domestic club competitions to be completed by June the 30th. This is what UEFA said. Basically, the UEFA want the season to be completed. This is the main explanation why they postponed Euro 2020 until the summer of 2021 and that. Obviously, if the season wasn't to resume though, it would change the context of the leagues, because there's been a lot of reports saying Liverpool wouldn't win the Premier League, relegation would be scrapped. Would Man United get qualification for the Champions League because we are sitting fifth? Leeds, they wouldn't win the Championship. West Brom, they wouldn't get promotion. There wouldn't be no winners in League One or League Two and that. There's been a lot of narratives in the mainstream media saying there could be 22 teams in the Premier League next season. 5 teams relegated. The EFL or the FA Cup games could be axed, to increase Premier League fixtures. So I think, the season will resume anyway. Once this, coronavirus, calms down, the season will resume. But it just will finish late, will the season, because normally the season does finish in May and that. But, if the season wasn't to resume, there's been talks saying Liverpool wouldn't get it. Also, there's been other narratives that have been totally comparison saying Liverpool would still be crowned Premier League champions because Liverpool only need 2 wins anyway to clinch their first ever Premier League title and to end their 30-year drought. But like I mentioned, this disease is bad. It's killed a lot of people. You've got countries that are in lockdown with it. Also, too, teams are going to lose money due to this. Businessmen are also going to lose money. So it is really, really bad. Obviously, with Arteta getting it, obviously, this is what, as suspended games in football. Arteta's getting much better now. Don't forget. Obviously, you've had other players that have been tested for it. Callum Hudson-Odoi had it, like I mentioned, Matuidi's recently had it and that. But a lot of other players have been tested. But hopefully, the season can be resumed. But, and there's been talk saying that matches could be played behind closed doors if the season was to resume, or maybe some matches at the start of next season could play behind closed doors. It just depends, how this virus, goes on basically in that. But obviously, you've had the government anywhere that had advised people to stay out of pubs, clubs, restaurants and everything else and, self-isolate, to stop this virus spreading even more and that. But yeah, I think definitely, the season will resume. From a Liverpool perspective, they'll be very, very delighted about that. So yeah, I just wanted to confirm that with you guys. But like I mentioned, I do believe from my own perception that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager going on into next season. He definitely will be Manchester United manager, even if the season wasn't to resume. Even if we weren't to get qualification for the Champions League, I still believe, he would be given another season at the club. It remains uncertain whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window or not. Obviously, so far, Solskjaer has been at Man United for 15 months, so he has been at the football club over the year. Now, Solskjaer knows if he's given another season at the club, he'll have many expectations to exceed. Like I mentioned at the start of this season, the expectations would have been to finish in that top 4 and perhaps maybe get some silverware on the board. Because, I'm hopeful, that, the FA Cup games can resume and, the Europa League games can resume. Because, they are our ambitions. There's a chance for us winning the Europa League. It's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. Plus, it's another route to Champions League football. And the FA Cup is also a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. Because we haven't won out yet in terms of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But overall, anyway, we've lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. So let's just put that into the equation and that. But so obviously, you had the Glazers that have come out recently. And, they're determined to back Solskjaer in the summer. They're determined to back the signings that he wants to recommend in. Obviously, the Glazers have been at United since 2005, so they've been here 15 years now. Obviously, a lot of United fans have obviously, I've had a lot of doubts, about the club's ownership. Obviously, same thing with Ed Woodward, he's obviously backing Solskjaer, but a lot of United fans have criticised Ed Woodward this season. Obviously, the board, they're also to blame as well. So, yeah, Solskjaer is going to be back in the summer transfer window and that. But he has been under a lot of pressure this season as Solskjaer because obviously, Man United have enjoyed their worst start to a Premier League season ever. But on the other hand, Man United can still finish in that top four and that. Obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis, his record has been disastrous. Obviously, his record's obviously, being worse than Mourinho's, Louis van Gaal's and Jose Mourinho's and that. But, obviously, when Solskjaer was manager of Cardiff, his record was also disastrous. So let's just put that into the equation. The main explanation why Solskjaer got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. He only managed around 29 or 30 games for Cardiff anyway, did Solskjaer. But, so I've criticised him a lot this season, just like a lot of Manchester United fans have. But, I've got to give him a lot of credit recently, Solskjaer, because I think his approach to games have been very, very good. He showed a lot of tactical flexibility. And, a lot of aspects of our game have improved. We have been creating chances. We've been scoring a lot of goals. So a lot of aspects of our game have improved and a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so I've also got to take that into account. But, we're on a good run now, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, so that's also, very, very good to see. We're unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. One good thing though this season, our record against the top six sides has been absolutely sensational. Our record against the top six sides. I think we've registered like 17 points this season against the top six sides. But I've got a stat to tell you, Solskjaer has managed 50 Premier League games as Manchester United manager, and he's won around, is it 24, 25, something like that, and lost around 13 or drawn 13 or something like that, yeah. But yeah, I still don't think he's a long-term solution for Man United, but I think, we need to stick with him for now. We need to stick with Solskjaer for now. He is inexperienced as a manager, but, the longer we keep him in as manager, he's gaining more experience, so that's also very, very good to see. So just put that into the equation. But Solskjaer, I think he needs at least one more transfer window to see who else he can recommend in. Because obviously so far he's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the club. In his first transfer window didn't get anyone in, but in the last 2 transfer windows he's purchased 5 players and spent around £220 million on them. Obviously, and I think the signings he's recommended in, I've got to say, have been exceptional for Manchester United. Daniel James, absolutely fantastic. He enjoyed a good start, did Daniel James. Hasn't been brilliant in the last couple of months or so, because I feel as though, from my own perception, Solskjaer has been overplaying Daniel James and that. But I didn't expect him to play as many games to the extent as he has done. But give him a lot of credit. I think Basaka's done well. Was out with a back injury not too long ago. He's done really, really well. Maguire's done really, really well. Man United paid £80 million for him. The club did make the right decision, by the way, on giving him the captaincy on a permanent basis. And Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo have also done really, really well. But you've got to say on Bruno Fernandes, he's making the difference in the team. Don't forget he won the Premier League Player of the Month for February in that. So, got to credit the players he's brought in, Solskjaer. Also, got to give him a lot of credit, Solskjaer, because he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood at the football club. Obviously, we've got some players go on permanent transfers. Young left this year after he enjoyed 8.5 years at Man United. I think, by the way, scored for Inter Milan as Ashley Young. Obviously, Valencia left last summer. He went on a permanent transfer after he enjoyed 10 years at Manchester United. Obviously, we'll let Ander Herrera go. We'll let Manny and Fellaini go. We'll let them go on permanent transfers. Lukaku went on a permanent transfer. But we've loaned some players out. Like I mentioned, Sanchez is being loaned out, but we're looking to get rid of him on a permanent transfer. Smalling, he's on loan at Roma. There's a slight chance he could still come back to Manchester United. There's quite a few clubs that are in for Chris Smalling, to be fair. Obviously, Rojo's out on loan at Estudiantes. You've got Dean Ensign out on loan at Sheffield United. You've got him on loan at Sheffield United and that. So, yeah, a lot of players have left. Darmian, don't forget, he left on a permanent transfer, forgot to mention. But I expect probably around 4 or 5 players to leave Manchester United in the summer, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think Jones will go, Lingard, Pereira. I think all them players will go. Possibly De Gea, because, Dean Ensign, when he comes back, he could be possibly, you know, our number one goalkeeper. He's expected to come back on loan from Sheffield United. Like I mentioned, we'll get rid of Sanchez permanently and Marcus Rojo. We'll get rid of around 4 or 5 players in the summer, and we'll be hopeful to generate over £200 million for their departures and that. By the way, we've got the youngest team in the Premier League this season. Just also wanted to confirm that. And that's another thing I credit Solskjaer for. He's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, so I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. There's a few young players in there. First season in the senior squad. Greenwood I think, is in his first season in the senior squad. Brandon Williams is in his first season in the senior squad. You know, I think Garner he's played a couple of times. Tuanzebe's done well in the games he's played in this season. Gomez, obviously, you know, he made his debut back in 2017. Like I mentioned, his future's not been resolved as yet as Angel Gomez. And he's seldom played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I think Solskjaer, you know, is keen on keeping Angel Gomez at the football club. You know, Chong, he's committed his future with the club because don't forget last week he signed a new 2-year deal with the club with an option of a further year. So there's a lot of young players in the squad. And don't forget Solskjaer did reveal he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United and that. But I've got to say, a lot of players have improved since, you know, under Solskjaer. Shaw's done well, Lindelof's done well, Fred and McTominay have done well together in our midfield. You know, the signs he's brought in have done well. You know, Martial's done really, really well recently in that. You know, Matt's still going strong, even though he's lost that yard of pace. But when he plays, very, very good player for us. So, yeah, a lot of players have improved under Solskjaer. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.